All these players have it all riding on this as we head into game 12.
No delays, we're jumping right in the game. One more, and it's 3 teams with a 9-point difference up at the top. Epic Whale and Malabuka leading things, leading the charge, leading the whole lobby ahead, and this is their first time in that top throne, the big chair. Champions and Ziandi right there afterwards.
The curse of third place. Everyone thought maybe Epic Whale would just stumble at the last hurdle, but putting himself in pole position going into this game, can he hold on though and break history?
We saw Ziandi with that clutch as well, no stranger to it. He got into a finals by being great. This time he has to win more than that, a champion type ship to be able to be the big captain. Cami and Seti as well, they've held on so far. They've been at first, they've been kings throughout the entire 2 days. Now in that third place, they're behind the most when it comes to all 3 teams, and they still want that prize.
Mr. Consistent themselves, it's really hard for them now. They have to go out of their comfort zone to push their way back in. They can't be complacent. Even though their regular style of play is so effective, it's so magnificent to watch and impressive on the eye, they really have to step it up when it comes to elims this game.
Epic, Malabuka, already up into a fight. Any elims makes their lead that much longer. And Malabuka, he wants to lengthen, extend exactly what he's got, and he's gonna go for it still. Up towards the moat, 1 DMR shot, it's good. Huge for Epic.
The biggest off-spawn fight of Malabuka's career, and he's staying calm and collected. Epic Whale understands this moment, and both of them rising to the occasion, but plenty more fights for them along the way.
So much more to go. We have to tune in with some other of these teams just to see if they're in that same spot. Gentle Phantom, they're being affected off spawn. Champions and Ziandi, usually they're fine.
And Gentle and Phantom, very much a team that could have been an issue, but so far being quiet. For Thomas and Tayson, they've had issues here against Kai. And so if they can't fix up, and if Draftel walks into the right spots, it could get real messy. Thomas already starting off things, but needing to finish things.
He needs to do it at some point. The big thing for this team, I mean, we talked about the top 3 up in the castle. There's about a 16-point moat, a little bit of a river right in between them and everyone else. The people trying to cross that drawbridge first is Tayson and Thomas. Right now they're sitting at 293 points overall. Cami and Seti ahead of them are at 309. Once again, 16 points of a difference. And if they don't make it off of spawn, if they can't stop Kai right now, with all this pressure, keep in mind he's barely even taken any damage. Thomas has been the one to soak up a lot of it so far. If they can't beat this first boss, their run is over.
And the thing is, this team has faced more difficult challenges, right? But the problem is have they faced them in moments like these, in situations where so much pressure, so much eyes are watching them? They haven't. And so this will be a big test of who these guys are. We know the GOATs they can be, but they have to step up and fill that mantle right now. And Tayson looking to do that, pushes his way closer, but now trying to create some space as he drops back. There's a player in his box. Can he get out of the way? Kai now coming in and drops Tayson, and Thomas now will fall as well. Thomas and Tayson fall here off spawn. Kai and Draftel have upset everybody.
That is the most surprising battle off spawn to go down in that fashion. Tayson looking surprised up inside the box, missing a player up and around him. That will be their run here in Gamers8 inside the final game. Legends stop before they can acquire that greatest of all time status.
This was the crowning moment potentially for both of those players, and to go down like that is crushing for their spirits. It will just have to be back to the drawing board for that team. But what a way to spoil the party from Kai and Draftel here at the Rave Cave.
That's just huge. I don't even think it's dropped down like that before throughout the entire tournament. Usually these guys clash like spinning tops in a bowl. They just battle and tipple each other a little bit back and forth. The issue is that fight never really finishes. This time it's an all-in. Every team now slightly more desperate. They want to be able to make up the difference in points with people ahead, and they want to be able to just leave everyone behind them in the dust. And Austin Pink, they've been taste testing a few duels when it comes to damage. They go for a few pot shots, right? But they never actually eat the full meal. Never actually dive in and take that full fight. That's very different in this game, and us getting close and personal, being the aggressor inside the box.
And it's not like these guys aren't hungry, right? We know how ambitious they are, not satisfied with just picking up the Zero Build Championship. They want it all, and it hasn't quite been that story for them. But this last game is a chance to keep moving their way on up the ladder. For Rogue, Shark, and Knight, though, an opportunity to do the same as they stay alive in this game, picking up both eliminations and getting the revive as well.
So now, with Thomas and Tayson down, who are the next people who have a chance to upset the podium, to really push forward? It's those on your screen at the moment, Queasy and Hen. Slightly a little bit more behind. It's 6 more points of a difference, so they're 22 away from third place. This means Cammy and Seti, they get to have no pressure. That's where they love to operate as well. Very low stakes for them against people who are trying to take their spot. They get to have a little bit of breathing room.
And that's the problem. That's the challenge for Queasy and Hen. As much as we've just seen them have such a strong game, to really do what they want to do, they're going to have that kind of a game again and even better.
Yeah, the big thing for them when they won, when they made that big point gap close, they had height. They had a minimal amount of elims. They looked good overall when it came to how they played that game of theirs overall when they had the Victory Royale. 5 eliminations in total. That will not kind of fill that 22-point gap. They not only need to win, they need to be on every single layer, every single time, and start on height. That's too much to ask at this stage of the competition.
The good thing is that that's not impossible for this team. We've seen them have crazy comebacks in the past. And so for them, everything will be riding on this game. A chance to make history. Vadil and Amar looking to maybe do the same, not quite on that level, right? But we saw them deep in last game. We saw them making a run. And it's in these last 2 games that it really counts. And here in this last one, the opportunity certainly is there.
Don't get it confused between Amar and Arab, although both create content. Start with A, I guess. Sometimes maybe slightly look the same. At the same time, they're rocking in. They're both doing the same amount of plays when it comes to the actual game, right? These guys are rolling, and although they might not have as many stakes on the line, as much of a legacy, they're affecting many others, especially in these last 3 games. Absolutely active. You were surprised at Vadil and Amar's performance in that last game, making it all the way to 4th. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, it's not something I'd expect to see, or I expected to see coming into the competition today, especially in some of the latter games, right? That's when you really expect, you know, some of those teams to sort of whitter out of the way. But if they can keep on being a team to spoil everything for everybody around them, you know, that makes it just more entertaining for us, right? So Joti and Vico, not where they want to be. And that's been a repeated theme in plenty of the games. Now trying to get into the zone, but they have somebody in their way there as well.
Nice, okay, so they turn speed bumps into just flat concrete. When it comes to Ronaldo, this man just gets rolled over by Vico.
Yeah, Ronaldo back to wherever Ronaldo is nowadays.
Come on, man.
I don't really know.
He's trying his best. You know, this man has so much on the plate to play with. He's here. He did a little bit better in Zero Build overall. He had a lot of fun in that Standard Battle Royale. The man's tried his best, put everything on the line. Him and Creo struggled off a spawn a couple of times. Their reign ends now. It's all good. We'll see what Vico does with that power.
I think he spent too much of his change on the payphone. It will be the end of the run for them. For Lecce and Swilliam, can they do it again? Another game where they just make it to the end game and start picking up players like it's nothing. Second place with 8 eliminations in game 11 was huge. Doing that again in game 12 would be sensational. But they have to go up against Pinken and Nas right now if they want to do that. It's not an easy battle.
Not at all. We know they like to start things off in their hot games with a nice mid-game engagement. Will they have the chance? Will they have the time in the room, as we see with the zone? Looks like yes. Not that much of a big move for everyone else, but Lecce and Swilliam specifically. I feel like if the end game is kind of, files organization overall, they're a computer virus. They get in, they mess up all that organization, everything that's supposed to happen. They steal away, this is the most important thing, up to 12 elims every time they're in an end game. Elims are how you kind of differentiate yourself inside that top 3. If you are Epic Will, Chapix, Cammy, Seti, Ziandi, Malavuka, you don't want Lecce surviving at all in this game. You're rooting for Anas to win that fight if it happens.
Especially for those teams who will be operating in similar spaces to where Lecce and Swilliam will probably be looking to be. It's a very dangerous game if those guys are still in the lobby. And I think for the most part, if they are able to deal with this fight relatively quickly and get to zone, there's no reason why they can't put themselves in that position again. A very similar zone to the one we saw last game, or 2 games ago, down south.
We know how difficult the desert can be. There's no mountain to be able to just claim first. That's usually what Malibuca and Epic strive to do. But trading Surge as they go all the way towards that south, they're not content with just being in this spot towards the north. Many teams in about a minute or two will be exactly where Malibuca and Epic Whale are right now on your screen. Absolutely boxed up with no freedom whatsoever. The fact they're here so early and are still trying to move from mat to mat, from refresh in terms of being able to just mine it up again to the next refresh, it's huge. And leave this entire snake of a build behind. M7 and Cal have to be careful as they follow it. It slows down everyone behind them. It's huge.
Yeah, for Cal, Nima, if they aren't careful, they might end up running into the wrong place. You can see they are aware of their surroundings, which is a minimum start, right? That's what you want to have at this level. But it's about now how you traverse this zone with your surroundings being made aware to you.
Yeah, Malibuca and Epic, they see their surroundings change. Very good for them to just be able to just get out of that box completely. They had half their vision blocked. It seemed like it's almost planned. They wanted someone to base up right there. You had Cal base up here, it causes CM to base up beside them. They created an entire traffic jam and a protective shield as they rotate. And then they're going to be good for the rest of the game. That's just absolutely cerebral for Malibuca. I don't see that happen. Just one player making one box have that much of an impact.
It's that domino effect. He does it so well, and typically does it with Mustache by his side. But when another top player steps in Epic Whale, still able to make the magic happen. But it's really the end happening for this team. Even at times where the chemistry's been a bit off, understandably, with them not competing with each other, there being a bit of a language barrier, they are still able to make things happen. And if they're moving into good positions like these, we certainly will see them in another end game.
The operating word that they share, no matter what language it is just domination. Look at Epic Whale on West. His entire reign over all the seasons, when he's not even trying sometimes, this guy just straight up wins. Look at Malibuca and Mustaches, this chapter overall. I think just shoo-ins to any type of invitational that can almost ever exist, any type of conversation this chapter of who's the best, they have single-handedly changed the game.
Yeah, I think it's really special what we've seen from Malibuca so far. Taking somebody new, leading the team to victory, it seems, or potentially, right, on the way there. Can't get too ahead of ourselves.
Okay,
That's huge. This is huge, though. A nice knock there from Hen. Huge in terms of damage, and also just making their life easier as it heads towards the safe zone. They have such a journey to go, but that elimination is a nice step in the right direction.
It's just unfortunate that knock body is right beside the foundation. There's not an easy way to be able to get all the loot without flying way up into the storm. They don't have time. The one big thing we've seen from Hen and Queasy, the guys who land all the way somewhere towards the north, I believe Sleepy Sounds. For these guys, rotating in all the way towards the south zone, that has been their curse. That has been the thing that's just impossible for them overall when it's all the way towards the desert. They took out cars, they took out launch pads, they've left these guys with nothing but their feet, and they're still trying their best to make it into this game.
Yeah, in previous seasons, it certainly was not the best of zones for them. In fact, it literally was their main crutch, right? It was a thing that was constantly a thorn in their side, something that they complained about timeless amounts of weeks and seasons, it seemed. But if there's ever a time to stop complaining, it'd be now. Save that for after and just make it work if you can. Ziandi will be trying to make things work. Him and Chapix on the right path towards success. And after that solo clutch from Ziandi, a chance to really staple themselves into that first place slot if they can both be together as a duo.
You can see the difference time makes inside the north side of the zone. Right here moments ago, 3 teams. You had King, you had Cal, and you had Epic Whale just kind of moving close by. Everything looked peaceful. A minute passes now, certain chaos, a different side of Surge, a loss of control, and now Refsgaard, he's gonna be able to take him out.
Vadil, he couldn't hold on to the floor. You don't have your German ping here, my friend. Your walls can be taken now. And Refsgaard and Kovacs, the Danes, who, to be fair, have some nice ping themselves at home, will be the ones to snuff him out. And now actually have quite the path to zone, right? You see, using all these old builds to make their way on in. And so an opportunity for that team now to keep it moving. Malabuk and Epic Royale, you talked about cerebral positioning. You're seeing the effects of that here. They can sit here and hold all these teams and stop them from getting to zone as they now make their way into the safe zone. Easy breezy, no one even there to cause them any issues.
Yeah, those medium bullets are laced with something, Levin. That's hesitation. Every shot Malabuka lands, even if it's not to the body, to the builds, it makes people second guess. People like Seti and Cammy who are following that rotation. Are we going fast enough? Why is this team shooting us? They send question marks with those bullets. Everyone else slows down around them. This is a duo that bends time.
But you're seeing how safe they are being in this game already, using the grapple glove charges to guarantee their position in the zone. They don't want to take any risks running their way on, then saving the charges for later. They just want to get them out of the way now so that they can have a shot at making it and playing in the end game.
They're going to try for it. They're going to be further off now and a bit better off than Malabuka and Epic, but this is a position that Malabuka's chosen. What can he do from here?
He can get eliminations. He can hit some shots, that's for sure.
The big thing we've seen so far from people making bases at this point is that if your back is exposed and a beam comes through, your chance is done. It's happened in many regions before. Malabuka choosing a cliff to block any pressure behind him. Scram still active as Nator goes down. Bizzle also picking up peak every time we see him lay a trap and it's sprung. He has a good game and he's taken a win so far today. If there's a non-top 3 team that is looking so good on height and steals a win away from the upper echelon, that would be huge. See Andy, he's still online.
Is this the Andy or is this Thomas HD? Down below on Surge and just hitting headshot after headshot.
The crazy thing too, it's not with Chavik's pressure. A lot of the times the Andy can operate because Chavik's finding all the angles and he's there to be able to complement the shots. They're both playing there once, and he found that himself. That's big props.
But the key will be sticking together. We saw what happened last game. It's the reasons the Andy had to solo clutch in the first place. They got caught out, split up apart, and that can't afford to happen in this game. They need both of them, the powerhouse together, looking for high ground if they have a shot at solidifying their spot in first place.
And Austin Pink always want to make things complicated for teams. And right now, have the information, have the blueprint on the entire lobby, where they are and how they want to move. They're going to be jumping right in and doing just fine. Using that bush to be able to decline any type of fall damage. Looking good.
That always scares me when I see players do it. I know they're not going to take 4 damage, but it does always scare me. Nevertheless, Pink and Anas in a position now to start making things happen. Ziandi, Chapix trying to stop things from happening, stopping teams from getting to the zone. And they are positioned well to do that. But the likes of Blake and Scope to use whatever materials necessary to get into zone. And looks like he's trying to get into a box right now. They want to fight, something they've become a lot better at doing as a team. But just charging their way through these builds and hitting the shots to match the armor will slow him down. But Anas still looking for these limbs.
Oh, it's tough though. This puzzle of a challenge turns into a labyrinth with no exit. It's up against Queasy, and him and Hen are taken out.
Hen and Queasy go down. Pink and Anas have done it again. They are actively just ruining the hopes and dreams of all these teams who want a chance at first place. Hen and Queasy was always going to be a difficult road to doing it, but the chance and the opportunity was there, and it's been snatched away from Pink and Anas. And then that's actually going down in the feed as well.
It's gonna cost them. Sion still alive, still active, and with so many of these teams who are right outside that top 3 going down, we have to focus in on who's actually still on that podium. Pink though, still alive. His story.
No, Matt, sir.
Not over, but basically done.
It's only a matter of time, right? If somebody spots him, even gets a whiff of him in the lobby, it's gonna be pretty much over. Taking shots onto Cammy. These guys are obsessed with the players up in the standings. Cammy having some shield knocked off of his bar, but for Pink, eventually you'd expect to see him go down in the feed.
But this is it right now. We're swapping between the teams.
Oh my goodness.
Cammy Seti, they have to be trying for a comeback. They're in the top 3, 9 points away overall from first. Ziandi, no eliminations. They're 4 points away from Epic Whale and Malabuka. Big opening as they get to upgrade some of the shotguns. That's a great one in Chaps' inventory. Now all the way up to Epic status. Speaking of which, 2 eliminations for Malabuka and Epic Whale off of spawn. We saw it happen, and that might just be the difference maker. They're gonna be all the way up. So far ahead in terms of points. It's a 6 differential now for the team. Actually an 8 if you add it all up. They have so much of an advantage. It's a catch-up situation for these teams behind. Pink finally down. It'll be Redley and Frosty that pick up the scraps. Steno also active. Every single elimination that comes in from any one of these players, it doesn't even have to be top 3, is going to change the end of their destinies here at Gamers8. This is the final game for Standard Battle Royale, day number 4. $1 million on the line, and with the 5th zone locking in, we're moving into those moving circles. We're moving into endgame. None of our top 3 have control. It's Rogue Shark and Knight that have the pilot seats.
It's no time to mess around. For any of the teams in this lobby, you really do have a shot to make history, to change your legacy. And for Rogue Shark and Knight, a team who very much had their chance seasons ago, they're looking to now get back into the party, join the fun in this final game. Chapix and Ziandi trying to keep their game alive, and Blake is the one that they see as a potential opening. And with Scope not being in the game anymore, that opportunity certainly is there. His armored walls, though, will cause some issues, but they don't care. They will keep on moving, aggressing onto his box. He keeps moving out the way, but they will keep knocking on his door.
Zandy and Chapix just don't want to let him survive. While this goes on, though, there has been a silent struggle across the map that's found some peace. Endelix and Scram, I think I've seen them pick up 4 eliminations so far. They now take the spot of the Titans we saw fall before, Thomas, Tace, and Henqueezy. They might be gone, but Endelix and Scram were the ones who were next up. They're kind of closing the gap. They're finding some control inside this endgame. They might be a contender if they do so well. They have a long leg to go, though, and people like this on screen to take over. Look at Chapix and Ziandi with his rotation. Absolutely bare bones and free. Finally starting to build. Cammy and Seti, though, up inside a little bit of a situation. Ziandi with another big knock, and he finds the finish. He gets the crucial refresh brick back in the build.
Ziandi's on fire right now, and not just right now, but throughout today in all the games, and he keeps his team in it. And now trying to keep moving forward, but needs to be careful that somebody, a stranger, doesn't run into his box. He's trying to stay in the game, and he'll have to, because Cammy and Seti are looking so strong down below.
Top 3 looking good, but talk about popping off from a pedestal. Bizzle and Dubs up on height. It took one refresh, and now they see the lights. Ziandi, though, and Chapix still operating through the shadows. Look at the options they have. Gentle and Phantom, their feet knocked beneath them. Wind out of their lungs. They're going to be looking for any sort of breath to stay alive. King, Steno, down. Drafto will not stop. Stealing the power of Domination E off of Spawn. They're in this endgame. Scram, still alive and active. Seti finds another one. They edge even closer. All 3 teams still alive.
All these teams, they realize what it takes to win the whole thing, and they're putting in their best stride. For Cammy and Seti now, as they move their way on backwards, they're having to break through old builds, but the pathway certainly is there. Dubs and Bizzle above have the opportunity to really make their mark. But all these teams below that have so much on the line, all having to play at their best.
Seti and Cam need to just break their mental completely down. I know you're really good at playing passive, my boys, but you need eliminations to catch up. Epic and Malabuka, they're way out of the way, and now they're actually in your box. Malabuka looking to stop the 3rd place team in their tracks. They split apart both players. Cammy on one side on the left. Epic looking at it, but doesn't see anything that much. And now they're going to prio position. Back all the way. Cammy stuck in jail for the moment. He is rattling the bars up inside his box. This duel will not stop. He's going to go down to Vico.
Vico takes him out. Seti will get some revenge, but for how much longer can he stay in the game? The German will do everything he can to disturb him, but if Cammy and Seti go down now, it could be wraps. Epic Well and Malabuka will certainly be hoping that can happen, and Dubs and Mega will try and do everything they can to stay up above. Seti using the grapple glove to stay in the game. Bizzle armored walling up to protect his high ground lead.
He looks good for now. A pause in the pressure for so many of these teams. Seti still alive as a solo. Malabuka right beside him. Chapix now down to low HP. It's up to Ziandi. They're going for another type of clutch. Scram and Endelix finding even more. They're catching up, and they're doing it in long strides. How many eliminations do they have? Bizzle off of height. He's going to affect one of these players. Kanata is not able to land the big shot this time. He needs to siphon and finish, and gets to Janice Active, takes out Dub. So that duo is split into bar 2. Epic Will finds even more and takes his lead higher to the skies. That might almost confirm him being this deep in the game to stay in the lead.
Ziandi and Chapix need a lifeline, and they need it soon. They have their eyes set on something, but they need to start connecting with shots. And soon, up above, there is a battle going out, but down below, it's Seti who's fallen. Bizzle's also joining him. Malabuka and Epic really doing everything now in their power to solidify their lead.
Bounce back though through different builds in that low ground, also tricky to navigate. Malabuka and Epic stuck in a spot where they're choking, have no air to breathe. Janice, from one build to another, connects. 3 builds left in his inventory. Malabuka, Epic Whale, 4 eliminations in a lead, but they have to work through the storm now. Malabuka by himself finds a way to mantle all the way up, and up to a different team. Who's this now? A big knock onto Endelex from Chapix. A huge one from him. Scram now moving with Chapix is down. Ziandi is gone. Malabuka and Epic Whale, they survive.
Scrum and Andelex have been so powerful in this lobby, but do they match the power of Malabuka and Epic Whale? No, they do not. Scrum will fall. Malabuka and Epic, how have they managed to do this? A duo that really even shouldn't have been here has managed to keep it going, keep it pushing, and move to first place.
NA and EU will have to take down Asia to be able to be champions of the world here in Gamers8. Malabuka has lost Epic Whale, and he's down in the dirt. 1 build left. He's gotten the split from Epic, but the shots are raining true from up above. First place coming into this game, surviving the whole entire time. 12 games of pressure, and now using that bed miss. This might just be enough for Malabuka. He might not win the game, but he's won our hearts, and it looks like he might have also won Gamers8 here today. That's 12 games. That's Moffin and Doggin with the win. It's huge. Look at those 2 players, the brain and the brawn. You love to see it.
They aren't even sure yet themselves because of how close it was, but with how well they played, you've got to think they've held on to it, eagerly waiting to see if the leaderboard is refreshed, as we all do as well. But what a game, what a day it's been for this duo. Genuinely one of the most impressive performances I've seen for a team that is literally new. Their first competition together, Shayo, and you would never even have guessed it.
It's just absolutely huge. A huge sigh of relief for Epic World believers and haters alike, right? They're playing on the NA West region. It's not the same. You come to international competition, you pop off like that. That's huge for the man. Big props to him and Malabuka to be able, you mentioned it with the language barrier, play like that, have moves like that. Epic keeps up with it. Unfathomable the way these guys play.
This is one of the best moments in Fortnite competitive history. A team being led by Malabuka. His chapter, his year has been so phenomenal, and the history behind the name of Epic World being added towards that, it is a match made in heaven. I want to see if these guys stay together. I want to see them play with each other more. I'm so sorry, Mustache, but genuinely, this duo is such an exciting duo to watch, and they've proved that over 12 games today.
It's just huge. The big question mark, though, in that game, Andelex, Scram, on that treadmill at maximum speed. These guys were moving, but you can see it there in front of your screens. Epic Whale, Malabuka, the champions of Gamers8.
The biggest event we've had in so long, and the duo that wasn't even a duo is the ones to take it away from everybody with top-level gameplay and so much finesse along the way. They will be crowned champions, and rightfully so.
Just huge to watch them from the start of this day struggle a little bit off of spawn, be there in the top 5, never really hit first. The one game they get it, they don't want to let it go. This last one, what a definitive DMR hit from Malabuka too to basically solidify their lead. They took it to the end game, they survived, took out 3rd. What a story for these guys.
They landed at Loot Lake, and they will take the ultimate loot today. They will be the ones to lift the trophy. And what a journey it's been for both of these players. For years, we saw Epic Whale regretting, thinking back to what he could have done more back in the World Cup times to be the one to lift the trophy. Malabuka trying to make his mark his legacy in the Fortnite history books, and now a chance to do that.
And they're up there on the big stage. It's just huge. Give it up for your winners, Epic Whale and Malabuka.